Welcome to this episode of the Know Your Candidate digital campaign. And in this segment, we are very honored to be hosting one of the candidates running for Member of Parliament, Kasese Municipality, who is also the incumbent Member of Parliament, Kasese Municipality. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming our guest on the show today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good morning, and how are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks.
How is the campaign so far?
Campaign is okay.
That is very good to hear.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the voters of Kasese Municipality have been looking forward to hearing from you. In a nutshell, how would you introduce yourself to a random person on the road?
Well, my name is Centenary Robert.
Mm.
I'm son to the late Second Lieutenant Kule Franco. My clan, I am a Mukunda by clan. And my mother is the late Evanis Mohindo, who is also a Mohira by clan. That is how we introduce ourselves in Lukonzo. I should have given you my lineage from about 7 to 8 generations, but I think in the interest of time, that is good enough.
I'm impressed that you know your lineage 7 generations down the road. Most of us can barely remember 3. And that is something interesting. It means you value your heritage.
I'm 41 years old. I schooled from Kasese Primary School.
KPS.
And I finished my PLOE in 1991. Then I went to SAD Secondary School briefly. Then I went to Rwenzori High School where I completed my ordinary level certificate. And then I came back to SAD Secondary School where I completed my advanced level certificate. So literally, I am a true citizen of Kasese.
You studied here.
And I studied here and I know what the parents and the students who study here go through.
Wow, that is
firsthand
to learn. That is very
Then from there,
learn.
I went to Makerere University, where I obtained a bachelor's degree in social sciences. I studied social work and social administration. And then I also did a major in political science and public administration. Right now, I've just concluded my master's in business administration at East and Southern African Management Institute.
Wow, congratulations.
But also, I did some administrative officers law course in Law Development Center. And of course, I worked with microfinance projects. Where I worked with Hofocam. We are the founders of that Hofocam microfinance. I worked with Care International in Uganda. I worked with the Community Church Loan Fund. And I am the founder of Refuma Group of Companies. I own a tour company, which is a personal business. It's family business. And I've been running it for the past 15 years.
15?
Yes.
So you're a prolific businessman.
And I think the sky is the limit. Right now, I'm the Member of Parliament for Kasese Municipality until 2021. That is when my mandate expires.
For this term.
For this term, thank you.
Wow, it's so good to learn about these insightful ideas on the history, academic history, personal history, and experiences in business and professionally for our guest on the show today. And I'm sure that now that you have this good idea of the kind of person he is, you are curious to know about the things that guide his life. What are those values he has upon which his life is hinged? What are those personal values you espouse as a person?
As a person, I'm a Christian and I'm a believer. I pray. I may not go to church every day, but I pray, and I believe that God provides and answers my prayers. I really believe in the Almighty. And 2, I believe in openness and transparency. And this is a value that I actually learned from my mother. I give credit to my mother. She was a very open and transparent woman. And those are the values she imparted in us growing up. Some people hate me for being open, because for me, I'll tell you what is on my mind, point blank. Well, it may hurt you, it may not hurt you, but I'll tell you. And I'm always factual in whatever I do and say. So sometimes people find it a bit difficult to contend with. And secondly, yes, I know I used to aspire to be a very wealthy person, but little known. Unfortunately, politics has put me in the limelight, and it has diverted me a little bit from my withdrawn life that I always desired to have, because I never wanted to be a public figure, like being known, like as a, the life of celebrity is not the kind of life I always desired to live. But right now, with politics,
it's a twist of fate.
It seems like the only way you can go. But even being into politics, I believe that I should be known for who I am. I should be centenary. The centenary during the day, and the centenary at night. The centenary you knew many years ago, and the centenary you will know many years ahead. Sometimes people tend to live other people's lives and tend to pretend to be what they are not. And this is very typical of many politicians. I want to be known for what I am. If I have values that I stand for, then those be the values. I am a free thinker, and I'm a person who believes in myself. I have personal self-confidence, which sometimes people tend to misinterpret into pride.
Yes.
Because I can tell you, I have really grown up from a humble beginning, and I have worked so hard to achieve what I have achieved now. I need to be proud of it. It's a milestone. It is something I need to celebrate. But this does not mean that I can undermine other people. Sometimes we have different orientations, and people tend to judge us based on their personal orientations, not on our very own orientations. I can tell you, even twins will behave differently.
Yes.
Even when they are identical.
They grew up in the same womb, but they come out different.
So sometimes society judges us so harsh. Sometimes they expect so high of us, and it is much beyond what we can offer. But that is the world that we live in. And I always tell people that, the leaders that you have are a reflection of the society
exactly.
in which you live.
It's my view, actually.
So you don't expect me to behave like somebody who is coming from Mars. It is what I have grown up seeing that shapes my lifestyle.
Yeah, leaders are a reflection, like you said. I recently wrote about it, that the leaders are simply a projection of society. And I know that the voters of Kasese Municipality have paid keen attention to your values, God-fearing, openness, the desire for self-affirmation, being proud of one's milestones. All these things bring out the kind of person our guest on the show today is, and I'm sure that this shall inform your electoral choices in the 2021 general election in Uganda. Now that we have a very rich history of who you are, your academia, your values, it begs the question of, as an incumbent leader of the municipality, what are those highlights? What are some of those highlights of your leadership? And what do you intend to achieve in the next 5 years if elected to lead the municipality?
When I became member of parliament for Kasese Municipality, we had a budget release of 8.5 billion shillings as released from central government of the financial year 2015-2016. This financial year 2020-2021, we are commanding a budget release of 39 billion, 0.9. Close to 40 billion.
That's quite an increase.
It's fivefold. That's a milestone.
It's a huge one for the municipality.
Fivefold for the municipality. And that includes 27 billion, which is going to work on the infrastructure development. There's a project called USMID.
USMID, okay.
USMID is a project that I personally invited to Kasese Municipality. I wrote a letter to the Minister for Lands, Honorable Musumba, on 10th of August 2017. And on 6th September 2017, he responded that we had been included on the second phase of the USMID project. And this resulted from a negotiation that I had with the permanent secretary of the ministry and the minister himself. Now, this money comes directly to the municipal account coffers. And the designs are ready. I am glad that even the procurement process started. We are in a cluster of 3 municipalities, Kasese, Fort Portal, and Hoima. And very soon we should be seeing results on ground. Number 2, from the time I became Member of Parliament, we have so far received over 5 billion shillings for roads.
For roads.
Bridges, yes.
Within the municipality.
From the Uganda Road Fund, yes. And this money is supposed to maintain roads and make roads motorable in the municipality. This is a lot of money. All we need is the municipal authorities to account for that 5 billion. Because much as our role as members of parliament is budgeting and appropriation, implementation is for the local governments.
Yes.
We only come in later to do an oversight mandate to ascertain how those funds have been utilized. Thirdly, we have a project being brewed. It's called Integrated Flood Risk Management on River Nyamwamba Catchment. It's a $27.8 million project.
That's a lot of money.
Coming to work on River Nyamwamba.
Specifically the river.
Nyamwamba only.
27 million.
And this is money that was relocated from the Integrated Lake Management Project, a loan that we borrowed from World Bank in July 2019. So we requested World Bank to allow us to utilize some of this money because Nyamwamba was a disaster which we needed to really address very fast. Member of Parliament Centenary wrote to the Minister of Finance to give a contribution towards the construction of the administration block. And that was in 2017. Since then, we have received additional funds to the tune of 400 million.
400 million.
400 million. Those are additional funds as per the request of the Member of Parliament to come and add a brick onto the construction of the administration block of Kasese Municipality. When I became Member of Parliament, we appropriated funds to the tune of 33 billion to come and work on Mubuku Irrigation Scheme Phase 2, which is now completed.
That lower section.
Exactly.
Okay.
It was only disturbed by the floods, and right now they are doing some bit of maintenance and defect liability interventions. On top of that, we have a 14 billion market that has been completed.
That's a major
going to be
infrastructure in the town.
Launched by the president. We have a health center 3 down here. Railway Health Center had cracked into, it had split into 2 pieces. Wow. And I decided to write to the Minister of Health to give us a health center 3, because it's a government policy that every division or sub-county must have a health center 3, but we didn't have a health center 3 in Central Division. Now we have a very brand new health center which is going to be handed over next week.
Next week?
Yes.
Wow, that is a major health intervention.
So, at a personal level, I have tried to support maternal health. I have distributed over 5,000 mama kits
5,000
for women to deliver.
That's a lot.
Within the municipality. Each mama kit costs 15,000 shillings.
Wow, and that's testament to a high population birth rate.
I have supported food security interventions in this municipality. Every season, I give out 4 tons of seed.
Wow.
I bought solar lighting systems
for homesteads without a connection to the national grid.
For Kasese Municipal Health Center in the wards, because the patients were suffering when Umeme cuts off power from that health center. I went ahead with my solar project to light up markets. Lit Chizungu Market, Lit Mawa Market, Lit Habitat Market, Lit Chigoro Market. Personal contribution. Why? Because I want to facilitate trade. If these traders have more hours in the market, the more income they bring on board, but also their merchandise remains secure. I brought on board roads through the interconnectivity project that is under Ministry of Works. If you see a very beautiful, motorable Maram road in this municipality, it is through that project. And specifically, I targeted Kanyangea, Chidodo, and Chondo. Kanyangea and Chondo, it's because we get materials, building materials for this municipality. In the past, a truck driver would take up to 3 days, especially like now during the rainy season, to bring one trip
3 days
of
within
bricks
this town
because of potholes.
Wow.
His truck would get stuck
That's quite surprising.
in the quarry to go and collect a trip of bricks. Today, he only asks you to give him 40 minutes. That means that you have facilitated that trade. The brick maker is going to have a high turnover because he's making more sales.
More sales, yes.
Even the truck owner, the driver, is also going to make more business because he'll do more routes. In addition, Nyakasanga Road is right now being tarmacked.
That road, Nyakasanga?
Yes.
Oh, I've not
They
been there in a
have
while.
completed the earthworks. The next phase will be asphalt concrete tarmac. Korokoro Road, which passes by St. Paul's Health Center and Habitat, down up to Renzori International, joining Mbarara Road, is also going to be tarmacked. The utility facilities have been shifted already in preparation for that. These are roads that I managed to secure from the National Roads Authority of Uganda, UNRA.
They are UNRA roads.
They are UNRA roads. I wrote to the executive director of UNRA, presented the case in the district roads committee. We obtained a minute extract, which I attached to my letter requesting that we should be supported in that area. And now the project is under implementation.
Oh, that is a lot of lobbying.
The reason why I did that, I wanted to show the people of Kasese that we can expand the beauty outside the central business area and have tarmac outside the central business area so that we can add value to those peripheral areas of Kasese municipality.
Wow, it's really interesting to hear all these milestones that have been registered to your name in these 5 years that you've been in office. I am sure that the voters and the viewers of these segments can be able to see the lobbying capacity, the ability to form partnerships with various stakeholders in order to achieve your roles, and these will stand out, I'm sure, in your pursuit to be Member of Parliament, Kasese Municipality 2021 and 2026. Now, this begs the question, what are those highlights of your manifesto for the next 5 years for the people of Kasese Municipality?
Well, I believe in lighting up our villages. This morning, I was with a team from Rural Electrification Agency, and we were up in the mountains in the Buhunga, Namuhuga area, mapping where we are going to supply electricity. Yesterday, they were in Chihara areas. Now, for me, my focus is to extend the infrastructure services to all the areas we have in Kasese municipality.
Yes.
I didn't tell you that I sponsored a number of water projects.
Oh.
That is also one of the things that I stand for. Water is life. And some villages like Chihara, Masule, Kajuma, Golf, Kirembe, I have supplied them with water gravity flow schemes sponsored by myself.
By you?
Yes.
Oh, that's
myself,
quite an intervention.
And for Chihara, I also have friends who supported in those interventions. Now, my dream is that if we have all these infrastructure extended to the periphery, if we have money coming in to make our roads paved, if we have money coming in to put solar street lighting system, then we are practically walking the journey towards a city.
Yes.
So that is a seated dream being walked in reality, not just in words, in practice. 2, I believe that we need to facilitate trade if we want to improve household income. We also need to improve the places where people, the traders, these small and micro enterprise traders, work from. We approved a supplementary budget of 100 billion under agri-led. And Kasese Municipality is going to benefit from that 10 billion shillings.
10.
The 10 billion shillings is supposed to improve the conditions of the markets, 5 markets, Katiri, Chigoro, Mawa Market, Chizungu, and Nyakasanga Market. I happened to have taken General Saleh, who was spearheading that program, to Mawa Market, and I made a personal invitation to him. I was lucky. On the day when we visited that market, it had rained. So God was on my side, and he gave us rain so that he gets hands-on the filthy conditions that those mothers of ours go through in that market. And it was really pathetic. I am glad our advocacy was backed up by the heavy rain, which flooded and made the whole place soaked with mud. We walked through the mud. Now that dream has become a reality.
Wow.
Secondly, I also want, and I had already started, creating market vendors circles. What dream do I have in this? I want them to form those small banks at the markets so that people can be able to access cheap credit, financial services. A market vendor should be able to come to that market bank, borrow some money, which is not usually much, 100,000, 200, at most 500,000. Go and purchase in bulk, retail, get some markup, and take back the money. That is my dream.
Wow.
And I've already started working it. As I speak now, I have 8 markets in the municipality whose proposals I have already submitted to the micro projects in the office of the Prime Minister. If it hadn't been for COVID, I think by now a team from the office of the Prime Minister would have come to assess. But it's a work in progress. And I want to remind the people of Kasese that this term of ours was interrupted by so many eventualities. Immediately when I assumed office, there were the palace bombings.
November.
And we took off a lot of time trying to do advocacy, trying to go to court, trying to pursue a number of things in the direction of equity and justice for our people. So that took almost 1.5 years, and it obstructed us from the path of our political agenda that we had promised to the people of Kasese. But I am glad that even regardless of what happened, we were able to get back on our feet and pursue the development agenda. For instance, during my reign as Member of Parliament, I know that these gentlemen from who ride border borders, they normally give us a lot of political support.
Yes, they do.
And they had a challenge. They are workers of the motorcycle owners. And I came up with a project of own your own motorcycle. We started with 16 motorcycles. Now we have reached 87. By the time of lockdown, we had 87, and our target had been 100.
That's
by close of the year.
That's a significant number of people.
I think that's an achievement that we've had, and I can celebrate it.
Wow, 87%.
Now, effectively, I think we've been on ground for about 2 years in reality.
Yes.
Because even this year was affected by COVID, and therefore you can consider it a dead year. I came with an approach of accountability and transparency. And every year I had a Kasese Municipality Citizens Parliament.
Yes, I remember.
Where they come and hold us, their leaders, accountable. At the end of the year, I come back and give them progress reports on how far we have moved. So it has been kind of a participatory leadership. It has not been my leadership alone, but participatory. So when you talk about representation, that is representation in its true sense.
Representation demonstrated, I would call it that. And that is very interesting to learn. It's very interesting to hear these wonderful ideas from the incumbent member of parliament, Kasese Municipality, what he hopes to achieve for the municipality, what he has done in the limited time he has had. And all these, I know, will inform your electoral decisions in the election year 2021. And now as we come to the, I don't know if you still have an idea or two about what you seek to do, but if not, we could come to the final question of this interview, which is about you as a person. Young people like to have leaders they can relate with. So what are your hobbies? How do you spend your leisure time?
Well, I love music a lot. I think music is my passion. I have sung.
I work with an artist actually.
And I love music. But I also love traveling.
You own it. You are a company.
I travel a lot. I can tell you, I don't publicize my travels, but I've been to more than 20 cities in this world.
20 cities?
Yes. And my aspiration is, when I finally retire, I want to save money, and probably every year during my retirement I should visit a city or two
every year. That
is my dream as a traveler. So I hope God will see me through that dream.
Yeah, it's a
but
good bucket
the beauty is, at least I've been to every continent
on earth. That is really a dream of every traveler, to be able to travel that much.
I'm very adventurous. I'm also a risk taker. Yes. I can get on a plane, travel to Japan, even when I don't understand Japanese, but I'll still get to my destination.
Oh, you like the mystery, eh? And the adrenaline rush of doing things that are in the moment. In the moment, that's what I would call it.
And I am a very curious person. You know, growing up, we used to watch movies, and there is this famous quotation on about Las Vegas. I mean, very many people talked about Las Vegas, and they say, whatever you see in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. So I was very curious to know, what is it that is in Las Vegas? I have been there.
You've been to Las Vegas?
It's a very interesting place. I mean, it's one of the places I've been to that has left a mark.
Really? No wonder they say what stays there stays there.
Exactly.
Wow, that's interesting to learn. It is interesting to learn. I'm sure young people will find that very relatable.
Maybe something I've left. You talked about young people.
Yes.
We used to have a group of dancers here called the Invisibles.
Oh, IDUs.
And when they were going to China to go and look for extra income, I did recommend them as member of parliament for visas.
Oh.
But even when I recommended them, I said, I need to know where these young men have gone. I traveled to Chengdu, to their city where they were earning a living from. I went up to their apartment. Matthew Nandala, he used to cook for us. He's a very good cook, by the way. Dukes is my friend. They came, met me at the airport. I gave them a surprise. And this was one way of encouraging them. You know, we spoke a lot. We compared notes. I had about 4 to 5 days with them. And it was a very good moment.
Wow, yes. You really followed up on
them. So I went out of my way. I mean, that is one way of inspiring the young people.
Yeah, to know that their leaders have got their back.
And they were really very happy to host me. When they came back home, I gave them a host party here. I hosted them at Sizzlers.
Wow. This is the kind of leadership every young person desires. A leadership that is parental. To know that somebody got your back covered. And I'm sure that speaks of your character. And
I love innovation, and I encourage innovation. This Kirindiro Communications is a very good innovation. You know, very many young people out there are waiting to be employed. They are looking for jobs. And I can tell you there is plenty of opportunities if you reach out to those opportunities. For instance, nobody ever thought of coming up with an idea like this. Now, this is an entry point for you. Who knows, tomorrow you would be commanding an online television. I mean, that is how entrepreneurs start. And every entrepreneur has a history. I mean, you must start from somewhere.
Yes, yes.
Don't wait out there for handouts that these politicians give you 10,000, 20,000, you go and drink beer, and that's the end of it. I can give you $1 million worth of idea, which will propel you to another level.
Yes, that is
Then,
true.
as the saying goes, give me a net, I'll cast it and eat fish forever, instead of giving me fish which I'll eat in a single meal.
Single meal, not even a day. Yeah, those are very kind words and inspiring words. We are one of the youngest population in the world, which means that we are creative thinkers, and it is interesting to know that you support and encourage innovation. And these speak a lot about the kind of leader and the kind of person you are as a human being. It's really, really interesting and engaging to have you on the show today, and I am sure that the voters of Kasese Municipality will be excited and interested and in hearing these ideas and making more informed electoral choices. Thank you for featuring in today's show. I wish you the very best in the campaign.
Thank you for hosting me as well. And I'll advise, when you aspire to inspire others, you don't despair. Let us offer value-based and strategic leadership for the good of our society. It is so painful to see our municipality going to the dogs under our watch, and we are never going to allow that happen. I have lived on every street of this municipality.
Yes.
And therefore, I know all the corners of this municipality. I know which are the critical interventions that we need to pursue to have this municipality go to another level. I have lived in this municipality from the time it was a town board, transitioned to a town council, now municipality, and we are aspiring to become a city.
That's a dream that we can achieve.
Very possible.
Thank you so very much, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. God bless.